Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Help us to communicate with our hearts and not hatred. And help us to basically bring together our viewership and our friendship and make this the best podcast ever. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
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 Hey, I like that. I was going to hit you with God is great. God is good.
Go ahead.
And we thank you for our... Nah, we don't have no food,
eating.
though. Ain't feed nobody.
All
All right.
Let's let it rock.
On that note, we back.
Let it rock.
We back.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10, baby.
Hey.
Another week.
Another week. More shine.
Blessed to be here.
Hey, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is King.
It's a Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Around 10:30.
Yup. 11:37, bro.
It's God's hour.
Everybody's in church right now.
Pass the Aux Pod.
Pass
Episode
the
10.
Aux. Let's do this.
Follow, like,
Hey.
subscribe, comment.
Pray
Pray for us. Think about us.
all day.
Talk about us.
Share us
Because we're doing the same for you folks.
all day. Hey.
Yeah. Hey. 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 Hey.
Acting like I got a piano in front of me right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and I feel good.
Hey, I like that. That's a great intro, man.
We should have saved a sermon or two and just let
Whew,
it
I know,
be like a
man.
prayer intro.
Damn. This is
35
great.
minute prayer.
This is great. I love it.
Guys, welcome back to Pass the Aux Podcast.
Episode 10. Episode 10. We here.
Hottest podcast on iTunes,
Hey, we
on
have our
Stitcher,
opinions, right?
on Spotify,
Hey.
on YouTube, on every single streaming platform in the entire galaxy except for SoundCloud.
Yep.
It's your boy Dante. I am accompanied by my co-host per usual, Yahya, and we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's Chelsea.
That's
Chelsea.
it.
That's it.
Chelsea
She's,
Lewis, a.k.a. Yabreezy's wifey.
We brought her in because she's an expert on religious studies.
I would not say expert.
On
Connoisseur.
Christianity. And, yeah,
My
we did a
background.
show. Yeah, gotta get into your religious background while we're at it.
I don't have much of a background, but I do have a background.
Yep. So basically, guys, for those that listen that are my friends that I knew from college and stuff like that, she keeps me in check. She hits me.
We had to take the most religious person that we know
exactly
and bring them in the
That I could
conversation
find.
to make sure that
That I could
we're
find, yeah.
accurately projecting our opinions about this project, because we might be looking at it in a totally different lens.
Absolutely.
Than someone who is a person.
We need to
of
bring a
faith
specialist in here
looks at it,
to
so,
help us
yeah.
out. She saged the room
Yeah.
prior to
Yeah,
starting.
and the PhD of religious studies at Temple didn't get back to us, so
She's written
so,
books,
yeah.
novels,
Oh my
poems.
god.
She's done spoken word.
Oh my god.
And Kanye West, Jesus is King.
Hey.
I mean, we're not talking about anything else, folks.
Nope.
No news, no Daniel, no. Actually, we might talk about the NBA later, but we'll see. We'll see if we have time.
Yeah.
NBA
You know
came
what?
back.
I do have an announcement about that. I'm kind of upset actually. Before we start, so I was looking at the subreddit, the NBA streams, and they shut it down, so I can't watch games for free anymore.
Ooh, I'll send you the link.
Oh, you got the
I
cheat code?
I got the link. Yeah.
All right, never mind. We're gonna take this offline. All right. Anyway, continue. But anyway, follow us at Pass the Aux Pod. Was it _ Dante Silva, and then Yabreezy, aka Unique Pove, EUNEKEPOV.
And follow Chelsea Lewis at
Chelsea who? _03.
yeah.
You got a nice voice on this thing.
Yeah.
You sound good.
I know. She already found her radio
I know,
voice.
right? She
We've
good.
been doing this for 10
So
weeks.
she going from the modeling and I know, right? She just come up here for the second time and she just killing the game.
I have a good phone voice.
I'm over there in the booth trying to study it and stuff like that.
Like,
Like, how should I
do
talk?
all of our ads and stuff.
Man, I'm trying to get my Barry White on.
Stay tuned for the Past the Aux.
Past the Aux Pod, episode 10. All right. So cool, man.
Jesus is king.
Man,
I mean, you
let's
guys
pull
all
up the
know
track.
about Kanye. You know his antics. We don't need to get too much into who he is.
Everybody
where
knows
he's been,
Kanye.
Where he's come from. Where
Even
he's
opera
going.
singers know
What
who
he
Kanye
says.
is.
Yeah.
Who
Everybody
doesn't know who Kanye is?
Who don't know Kanye?
Everyone knows who Kanye West
Everybody.
is.
Even hardcore country
Mm-hmm.
people, everybody knows.
And now, I mean, within the next few weeks, he's just going to suck up all the Christians, the middle American white Christians that didn't even know who he was or didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's absorbing that audience.
Whole
and
new
now
fan base going
he's
on.
growing and his influence is festering and he's going to just
Mm-hmm.
bubble over. And I saw it was like a Twitter meme when it's like when all the white supremacists meet like all the blacks at the Kanye show.
Oh no!
And you see the meme with Paul Rudd, and it's like, hey, look at us here, guys.
Oh my god.
Look at us.
We're one.
Check us out. Who would have thought?
We've all come together.
Yeah,
Thanks to Kanye.
that's funny.
Oh man! So just a little bit about it. This did release. It was a little bit late, but it released the 25th, which was Friday of October. It's about 11 tracks, and what did you say, Dante? It was about 20-something minutes.
27 minutes and 4 seconds of a lot of feeling and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
Absolutely. Lots
bad,
of feelings. Lots
the
of
ugly.
emotions.
Transcendent.
Mm-hmm.
Also some depression for myself.
From Dante only.
Anger, rage, hatred. I think that's it.
Dante was a
I'm gonna have a
heathen.
few more emotions.
Dante was a heathen until he found this
All right,
album.
so let's get into it. Hey, let me play a little Paul Rudd meme just to get the vibe a little better. Oh, hold up. There we go. Because I want to start this show off on the right note here.
Oh god.
I don't want people to think I'm grumpy.
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh?
Yeah, who would have
Not
thought?
me.
Now that we put some positive vibes back up here.
I might need to sage it again.
You gotta research the room.
We're trying to keep it positive for the most part. My hatred and anger and frustration comes from a place of love. At least that's what the man of
Well,
God
And
would
that's
say,
what
right?
crazy said. That's what
what a
crazy
man of God
people
was
say.
supposed to
So
Oh my god.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and.
So
Hate does come from love.
the album was delayed, per usual.
Yep, Kanye.
But that was expected.
Typical Kanye.
I
Yeah.
woke up at 4 a.m. in the middle of the night, check my phone.
Just to get paid.
Nothing there. Woke up at
He
5:30.
was tight.
Start my day.
He was
I
tight.
wasn't there. Oh yeah, I texted you guys like the 4th day and I said nothing's here.
What the
Same
fuck?
shit.
What's this bullshit?
Something
yo?
like that.
He
I
was
said
so
something, yeah.
tight, bro.
That
Yeah.
happens to all his projects, so I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, he does do that a
It's
lot.
just
Well,
the
yeah,
regular
let's get into
delivery.
that for a second because I get why he's doing that. You know, obviously you want to build suspense, build the attention and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do that, then you have to have something ready to go that's going to absolutely change the game, that's absolutely going to blow me away and give me that feeling that I felt when the first time I heard My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or the first time I heard Graduation, or the first time I heard Jesus,
808s.
or 808, any of those great like make me feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that for the first minute and 42 seconds with the intro. And the song cuts off abruptly, and then Jesus is King happens, and
Well, where
wasn't
exactly were you
enjoyable for
like?
me.
Where did it like
Well, I listened to it at
stop
first at
for
work.
you?
It
Like-
stopped for me after the first song.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you hate after that? Exactly. Like
What
what
did
made
I
it just
hate?
yeah? What made it go wrong for you?
All right, let me put it this way, guys. If you would have gave me snippets of all these songs and said, "All right, this is like the like the iTunes snippet, you click
Yeah,
on it, and
yeah,
you get the
yeah.
taste." If you would have played me all those, I would have been like, "Wow, this is going to be another amazing Kanye project. This is going to be him changing the game. Like he's really going full-fledged Christian. He's really going to like bring that genre of music into the mainstream, And not only that, but like help people find their whatever you want to call it, their spirituality, their
Yeah.
place with God, whatever that is to whoever."
Right.
But and then I listen to this and I'm like, oh man, like every song seems like it's like a great idea that wasn't finished. They seem like reference tracks to me, especially on I think it was God Is when he starts singing, it just sounds like they had a bunch of really brilliant ideas that they didn't flush out. He said, I have this release date, I'm going to push it out, get it done, and then put my stamp on it because I'm Kanye West and I'm the greatest artist in the world, and everything's going to be great and people are going to eat it up. And a lot of people are, but other people like myself who had been skeptical of Kanye's moves, because I always get the feeling that he kind of pushes things out without really flushing it out, especially with the whole 7-song thing he did last year. You can hear it on the Ye album especially. I mean on all those albums. I mean, who's listening to that Nas album? Like when you say Nas and Kanye West, ooh, should it be a classic 7 songs, in and out 20 minutes, and I haven't listened to that since then. The same with Ye, like he had a bunch of great song ideas with Yikes. I thought about Killing You. Like that intro, there was so much there with like that darkness and that rage and like that suicidal vibe, and he just like the song cuts off. But I'm getting off on a tangent here with all that.
So
but
you're just saying it felt unfinished.
It's not complete thoughts.
It doesn't sound like Kanye's putting his all into this music. Kind of sounds like he just
throwing out fillers.
Thinks because he's Kanye,
right?
This is like what it's supposed to be. This is the classic.
Yeah.
And he has all these collaborators, but it kind of sounds like he's either not listening to them or they're just his yes men.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just so happy working with Kanye, they're not going to tell him the truth.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, also you have to keep in mind he just converted to Christianity this year, so technically all of this information that he's learned about Christianity is stuffed into this album.
I mean, it's true art at the end of the day. It's a stream of consciousness.
It's his interpretation at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like his complete thoughts. Like, okay, I have this thought, I have to get it out, and it's like he's basically providing initial thoughts of what's going on in his head.
Basically he just crammed the whole entire Bible in 11 tracks, which you can't do. So again, that's probably why it sounds so like unfinished.
Prototype, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, lyrically, like I guess we'll get into sonically a little bit later, but like lyrically, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's pushing so much on you and not giving you enough of himself. And like, if you are gonna give me like a very like superficial like version of what you think Christianity is or what it should be, then I don't know. Take some more time to like structure the songs better, or make me feel like make the lines land. Don't just give me a generic this is what a good Christian is, this is what a good Christian should do, and just like, and I'm supposed to accept that as wow, this is art, this is amazing. Like let me ask you this. I need to question my life choices.
Let me ask you this thing. If like, okay, let's say that it didn't drop yet, right? If he had completed his thoughts, would that change your mind about the album? If it didn't seem like it was just references or snippets?
If you would have flushed this out, like he should have taken at least another, 6 months to a year, if not longer, and flush it out. Don't give yourself a deadline, especially with art, like artists and, art in general. You can't put a deadline and say, all right, this is when we're doing this.
Right.
And that explains why he, pushed it back these couple weeks anyway, when he was doing the Sunday service private viewings. Because he was probably sitting there and looking at the people in the audience and like, oh shit, they're not feeling this. What can I do to
it's different vibes,
make it better? And then even the day of the second or third time he delays it, he's like, oh well, it's delayed for mixing. We're remixing these 3 songs. But
keep in mind that Kanye, the artist that Kanye is at the end of the day is like, if he is perfectionist A, and then B, those listens that he was doing in different areas in the country, I don't think he was really looking for people to like nod their head, because I think he wanted them to think about it like, okay, what am I listening to? I think he wanted everybody to be like, the hell is this? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And then he's like, okay, I can release it. But like if he had people like bump into it like, oh, this is hard, I don't think that's the message he was really trying to convey, because he's trying to do something completely different. He's really trying to change the game again like he did in the past. It's just he was in our realm, that genre. Now he's completely different. He's in a completely different lane right now, and it's so new to us that it's like, okay, this is very different. You know what I mean? And like, say for like Chelsea, for instance, she has more of the background, so she can understand like some of the snippets she picked up on. She's like, oh, this person's on there, and she like grew up with these individuals, so like to her it makes more sense than like to me. I'm just like, I think it's just a good project. I think it's great. It's new. It's something that makes me think about it. Like, does it have replay value? We'll get into that a little bit later. But like, far as with the body of work, I think it's solid. I think you just have to listen to it over and over again. You have to listen to it for what it is first. Then you have to listen to it again and dissect the lyrics. Okay, he kind of references like, the 13th Amendment. He talks about, and like I said, he's basically cramming in the Bible in 11 tracks.
Yeah.
And it's
that was the problem with it, though. He's cramming in so much that it comes across as him not like saying anything. Like pick maybe one or two topics that you're going to touch on per song and flush it out. Like for like the song, what was the name of the song where he talks about his dad?
Where he was spazzing?
Yeah.
And like that was one of the songs I actually did like, but then that's
Was
one
it
of those
Follow
things
God?
where it's like, oh, I'm not being a man of God, or like he's saying I'm not being very holy and all this shit. But then like flush it out and then give me, a second part of that verse about your relationship with your father, or or your relationship with your father, God, all intertwined, and where he's at, in his spirituality, where you're at, and how you guys can be better people. Like, get more into that.
Yeah.
Don't just gloss over it and act like, oh, I'm trying to be a man of God, and it's so hard for me to keep it together when everyone's attacking me and all this shit. It's like,
I see a point.
it's
with
hard
that.
for everyone. I mean,
yeah.
everyone feels attacked. Like everyone feels like they have a hard time keeping it together.
And that's the
Like,
thing.
flush
like,
it out.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I totally get that. Like he need to go way more in depth with
Hell
why
yeah.
he,
Hell yeah.
why he had such a hard time trying to explain to his dad, his way versus his father's way, all that stuff. He should have definitely did a deeper dive into that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know.
that would have
They
been
could have
something
had, like, a
to
whole
really
second
talk
half
about.
of the song
Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
that would have
Like an
been like
actual
his
story.
childhood.
Like he honestly could have
his
flipped. He could have flipped the
story.
beat like he usually does, and like had a whole. I wouldn't have minded like a
Like an
7-minute
interlude.
track
Yeah.
or something.
Like
Yeah, or
an
something like
interlude
that.
Yeah,
into-
like give me a 30
Like Father
hours
Stretch My
even,
Hands
like,
part
yeah.
1, and then like part 2. You're just like, all right, I'm diving into this. Like
Right.
this is what I mean. I do
Especially-
agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because we've gotten this from him before. It's not like he's always been like some bullshit mumble rapper that
Right.
just gives us like fast food rap. He's really takes his time on a lot of his music, or at least he used to.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
but-
this kind of brings me back more to like Yeezus, where it was like a soundbite, because Yeezus was kind of like a testimonial. It was kind of like a sample, and I think this
See-
is like his Yeezus.
And
But, like,
but
with
he's putting his
Jesus-
like footprint on it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he's like putting his toe in it. Like, okay, let me just
He's
feel
just
this
dipping.
out.
He's dipping into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is something. Again, this is something very new to him.
Right.
Like I
So
just
I
said,
look
like
at
he just
Jesus-
got, like he just,
Yeah.
he's a Christian. Like he just came into Christianity this
Like
year.
full Christian.
So
yeah.
it's like, he's just stepping into Christianity, and like, and that's the thing, gospel is recreated in so many ways. It's hard to kind of pinpoint where, what direction he should go in, because again, this is his interpretation
right.
of, what gospel is to him and how it's changed his life and his family and the direction he's going on and all that other stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, trying to find your sound,
yeah,
but then just give us maybe an EP and not a whole album, or don't call it an album, call it an EP.
yeah.
Or
Like a
give
7-tracker would have been.
Give us
fine.
3 songs, and then give us another EP a few months later. Or like
Yeah.
keep giving us a little taste,
Like
of
sound
where
bites,
you
just-
think you're going,
Yeah.
and see how the fans react to it, and then
But then it's like,
flush
how
out
do
your
you
whole
rap for God?
project.
Like, how do you put your
How you do
spin
it
on
right?
it and still sound like Kanye?
Still be relevant. Yeah,
You know what I
to
mean? And
yourself.
that was very,
I mean,
and you could, like, just
for
listening
me-
to the album, you can definitely hear that. Like, how do I stay true to myself, but give it a little gospel like I want? Like, how do I go in that direction, but still stay true to Kanye?
Right.
I think that's what he was trying to, I feel like that's where the struggle was. Because you were expecting one Kanye, and then you got a
Right.
totally different Kanye, and you were like, okay, he's talking about, like, his sneakers and in
Like
one
how his sneakers
situation,
and his
and
clothes,
and he's
clothes,
talking about
everything
something
he
else.
built is for the church. Like
I almost punched a hole in the wall when I heard that line about the 350s.
Yeah.
Oh, I charge what I charge because I'm getting taxed out the ass and my family's not going to starve. And it's like, you do realize that every single person in America has issues like with all their money being taken out for taxes and all this shit, and like having trouble making ends meet. Like, everyone has that same problem. Like, you're not special, or like, don't justify your lifestyle
That's
to
true.
me, the average person. Like,
That's
dude,
true.
I was really offended when I heard that.
that is
like
true.
You're
That
telling
is
me
true.
you're a man of God and all this shit, but you're gonna tell me, oh, I can't have my family starve. Your family's never starving, bro. Sorry. Don't
They
justify.
owe money, bro. They owe
Like,
money at this
don't-
point.
Like, or just give me the respect of saying I charge so much because I put so much work into my Yeezys. I spent hour upon hour designing these, not because I don't want my family to starve.
But I mean, like everybody's a Kanye
I'm
fan
getting
knows
taxed out the
that.
ass. Like, I need to pay my the bill
Yeah.
on my fucking third Lambo. Like, no, dude, that's not.
But
gonna fly with me.
that I understand, because I think it's like a conflict of interest, because he's trying to maintain his current lifestyle, right? Which is an issue to a lot of people, right? Because none of us will ever see a Lambo in our day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he's trying to maintain his riches and what he has now, but also be the good guy and be, you know, a man of Christ and do it the right way.
Well, you can still
so.
be a man of Christ and still have all the money in the world. It's not
Kind of. Yeah.
You can't. No, you can.
Well,
There's no such thing as being
'cause-
poor and being super holy. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I found God because I'm poor.
I'm
in a dark place.
Right, but then again,
especially
Kanye's
church.
doing
The
it his
worst
way,
place
though.
you can find God is when something tragic happens. Like, you don't want you want to find God before He finds you.
Right, but at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, like we all say, Kanye's trying to do it his way. This is Kanye's story, okay?
And
Exactly,
So
it's his interpretation.
Right, so it's not, it
Yeah,
might
I
not be
think-
factual to everybody else, but it's Kanye's vision.
I think in his head
So-
he really thinks like he's a man of God and is doing like all the right things.
I don't think
But
he feels like he's doing all the right
he's just
things.
so like ingrained in that superficial Hollywood lifestyle, like the Kardashian. I mean, he's literally a Kardashian. So just like trying to separate yourself from that and being a man of God, I feel like is next to impossible.
It's hard because remember I told you before we started recording, they actually had an argument about, you know, her, Kim actually, you know, showing herself too much to the public. And he was like, well, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that. And she's like, well, you told me that's what you wanted me to do because that's going to bring in the viewers, that's going to bring in the money, that's going to bring in like, you know, like the extra chunk of change that we want or that we need, you know, that platform that we're on, you know.
That easy money too. That,
Exactly. And she got mad because it's like, you told me to go down this road. Now you have a problem
Not to
with
mention,
it?
she started her career with a sex tape. You know what I mean? And you married her knowing all these things. Like, why are you going to change her?
That's true,
You're
but
not
I mean,
gonna
like,
change her. Like,
in the
she is who
spotlight,
she
in the
is.
spotlight, you can't be wrong for some reason. You could be wrong as a normal person, and he made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's all it was. He just he called it out,
And
but
then
it's because
he
it's in the
says
spotlight.
shit like he doesn't want his wife to dress all slutty. He doesn't want his daughters to wear makeup and all this
Well,
stuff.
yeah. I
And
mean,
he
but
says he's
like
not
I'm
gonna
saying,
make
like
rap
he's a
music. It's just-
celebrity, so everything's under a big like his whole life is under a microscope, and
And
it's like
yeah, but then the
you can
other
be
side of
wrong.
me feels like he just says that to get more attention.
I feel like you're
So,
allowed
like,
to change your
he's-
mind.
He
You know,
can.
as we
keeping,
grow,
I think he can make mistakes.
you're
We
allowed
make
to change your
mistakes.
mind. There's certain things I would never do.
Yeah.
No.
Like there's gonna be things that I told Chelsea years ago, and I'm like, damn, babe, I'm sorry. I completely said that wrong, but like no one cares because I'm not in the spotlight. But if I'm in the spotlight, it's like, how dare he do that to Chelsea? She could have did this, and that. Like all the fingers are always pointing at you when you're under a microscope.
I mean,
So,
but he brings it all on himself though. Like if he wanted to keep the
Yeah.
shit under wraps, he would for the most part. Like he's the one that chooses to go on a Zane Lowe interview and say that shit, or like publicly put out that he's arguing with his wife about.
But I mean, that's
That
why we
kind of
love
stuff.
Kanye
'Cause
because
he's-
all of
he's
his
thorough,
business
man.
is out there.
he's raw.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He don't give a fuck what nobody got to say. That's why I love him so
Exactly.
much. Because so people are always scared. Like, you know, like the whole, what we talk about, the Usher thing?
Yeah.
Where he
See,
was like,
I look at it from the other angle though. I look at it as like he's just doing this for attention. He's not doing this from a place of like authenticity. He's doing it because he knows if I say this, I'm gonna spike the reaction of people. I'm gonna cut through the noise. Basically, there's so much going on. Not to mention the fact that I'm already Kanye West. I'm already like a quote unquote god amongst men. But then when I say some crazy shit, people are gonna react, and then people are gonna talk about me. I'm gonna put on that Trump hat. It's gonna make worldwide national news, and people are gonna keep talking about it, love it or hate it. But for the most part, his fans are still coming back around to hear this.
Yeah.
So he can do almost anything or say almost anything. People are going to freak out about it, feel some type of way about it, and still come back. And he's probably going to bring even more people, more fans, that into his world, his universe.
I mean, it's a smart move because, what's the biggest things that we argue about? Religion and politics, aside from sports.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
That's
he
a
has
fact.
his foot in religion right now, and guess where his wife is? Politics. She's bringing out people out of prison, making prison reforms and all this other
I mean,
stuff.
that's what her dad did, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like they're putting themselves in a very smart place because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, not just music, but this is huge.
Yeah.
They're creating literally a following.
I mean, but
Almost
whether-
like they're like almost in a weird way political leaders if you think about it.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it, whether people like him or not, he's going in the history book because what he's doing right now is changing the game in so
And-
many ways. So that's
you know
what
what?
everybody that's deemed crazy becomes historical when they die. I think Kanye is going to be one of those martyrs that's just like, yo, I understood years later.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, I don't believe him. Like, I'm one of the biggest Kanye fans in the whole world. Like, I've defended him over the last few years, like wholeheartedly. I look the other way when he says stuff I don't agree with because I've been a fan. Like ever since 2004 when College Dropout came out, that was one of my first rap albums that I really got to appreciate as a like a middle schooler. And then you go through the ranks and like get all the other artists in that scene and all that shit. So I don't want to see him fall off. I don't want to believe that someone that I grew up idolizing is full of shit. Like, I don't want to believe that.
Do you think he's being a fake Christian?
I mean, personally, I do. And this is coming from a person that's not very religious.
Yeah.
At least, like,
I'm on the
by
same
the book
wavelength
religion.
as you. Yeah.
But I just feel like he's just doing this to, pander to the Christians, get a bigger audience. And, like, I feel like a lot of, like, people that are super religious have a way of being able to flip around whatever they do because you do it in the name of God, and you can't judge me because I'm trying to be the best person that I'm trying to be, and blah blah blah. Like I just feel like Christians especially like find a way to be like total hypocrites. Like you can do or say anything, but as long as you say, "Oh, I love my Lord Jesus Christ," and I apologize for my sins. I'm trying to do the best. Like what was that line? I have the line written down that really triggered me. That he said on I think it was the last song on this project.
Jesus' Lord.
I all caps it too. Like when he says, I deserve all the criticism. It was on Hands On. He says, I deserve all the criticism you got. If that's all the love that you have, that's all you got. To sing of change, you think I'm joking. To praise his name, you ask when I'm smoking. Yes, I understand your reluctancy, but I have a request, you see. Don't throw me up. Lay your hands on me. Please pray for me. Hold myself on death. Hold it down. All falling down. Somebody pray for me. And I just heard this and I'm just like, dude, like I just felt so triggered. I feel like you're just like flipping like the plight of Jesus, how like Jesus is like, believe in me, pray for me, like I understand that you hate me, like basically flipping it around and saying like all my actions are justified. Everything I've said or done in my career is totally fine because I'm coming from that place of like holiness.
Do you feel like he's trying to be a victim? Is that what you're saying?
Like you're playing the victim part.
Before you say that, hold on. So
like, I deserve all the criticism that you have for me. Like,
for the people that haven't listened to it yet, that is track 9, Hands On, verse 2. Just want to let them know so they can get some reference. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just felt like you're like finding the loophole. Like that's like the Christian loophole right there. Like I totally get it. Like I just have love for you. I deserve everything you're giving me. I know it's coming from a place of love. That's all you know to, express yourself. And it's like, well, no, you said something I don't agree with, or no, you hurt me, or no, you fucked up, or no, you did some shady shit. My anger to you is anger because you did something wrong, not because I don't know how to express my love for you. You know, like shit like that. Like that. Yeah. I just don't like how you get to manipulate, I don't know, your actions or with like hiding behind Jesus and shit like that. So
you feel like his crazy is maxed by this facade of being a Christian,
like manipulating his craziness behind like Christianity, so he can justify everything that he does. And I hope that's not true, because that would really hurt me as a longtime fan. But that's the feeling that I get, especially when I see how he moves in the media, the rollout, the people he associates with, and it just. Yeah, I'm not very trustworthy of him.
Yeah.
How he rushes the music out. Like, I've heard Kanye projects where it's a work of art. Like you have Twisted Fantasy, Dropout, Late Registration, all those classes. You guys know what they are. But then we get this, and it's like the 7-song bullshit where you can tell he didn't put any effort into it. The rhymes are lackluster, the beats are half finished. And the same with this. Like, there's so much potential in this. Like, this could have been up here. This could have been a gem. This could have been album of the year. But you just push it out because you want to do more shows, you want to sell more merch, you have to feed your family because you're starving, like, and that's how I feel as a fan. So I mean, whether it's true or not, only time will tell. But I
learned not to take what Kanye says too literally sometimes, because he's always thinking on a higher level, and I think a lot of us just aren't where he's at until like we'll figure it out a decade later, like, okay, what you said is absolutely true. He was full of shit the whole time. I can't believe this shit. I'm not a fan anymore. Or I'm hurt. Or it's it flip the coin, and you're like, oh shit, okay. He just had like a whole epiphany, and like he just blew my mind. I'm so on a woke level now.
So it's like when you do go down to Jamaica or wherever he was going and build those hurricane-proof homes. Go ahead. gut out all those ghettos and build hurricane-proof homes for those poor people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that'll be a step to show me, oh, you're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, when he talks about, like, how, you know, the world should work with, like, church being centered around the town and the schools and
Yeah, I
teaching
had
the
no
kids.
problem
Like,
with that one.
If you
I
do
wasn't
that,
mad at
or,
that,
like, if
yeah.
you do build, like, your little
Yeah.
cult of the city,
Right,
and it's, like,
right.
such, like, a loving, warming
Mm-hmm.
place, like, then I'll respect
Okay.
you. Like, do something. Like, do
Yeah.
something to show that
he's trying to
you're
build
not full
a...
of shit. Like, we heard the snippets in the Zane Lowe interview.
Okay, I have to stop you. It's not a cult.
Uh,
Let me just stop you there. Gospel is not a cult. But
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay.
I meant as in, like, other people might see it as like
Yeah.
a cult if he built like his own little city in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah, he's trying
But
to
if
build a
you're-
utopia.
If you're building a
basically.
utopia and do
Sorts.
that, then I'll appreciate that.
Yeah, but
Right.
the art of gospel, it's a community. It's coming together. It's bringing people together on a same accord. You know,
Yep.
it's uplifting.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of understand where you're coming from totally. Where it could seem like it's like super rushed. You're pushing this out. This is strictly business. You're being fake. You know, this is not finished.
Yeah.
This could have been better. And to be quite honest with you, yeah, it could have been better. He could have went more in depth into this
Yeah.
album.
100%.
He could have definitely, you know, especially about that father thing. That would have been dope.
That would have been
Yeah.
if
a
he
great
added
thing
like
to-
something extra, like
Yeah.
an interlude.
It's like I don't
you
think
know.
he's ever talked about his dad before.
No,
I-
And then he
always-
mentions
always his mom.
I didn't even know.
I didn't even know he
I
had
didn't
a
even
dad.
know he
I
had
didn't
a
know
dad.
he had- yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah, like what
I
where's
had
this
no
come from?
idea. I was like,
It's-
where does his dad come back?
Right.
I never heard.
I didn't know.
This is his ninth studio album, and we just now hearing about his
Right.
dad, which is crazy.
and that's
to
the
me.
thing. It's like gospel is literally a
Yeah.
radical, you know, it's
Right.
a radical
Kanye's
tradition.
dad, come on the show. We need to know more. We need answers.
Kanye's dad,
You don't
Drake's
get to just
dad,
appear at 9
Drake's
albums
dad,
in.
you need to
like,
come
Oh
on
my
too.
God.
But no, one thing I
Yeah.
will say,
I wasn't done. You're cutting me off.
My bad.
Like I said,
That's why
trying
she
to get
keep me.
2 words
That's why she
in.
keep me.
I know
in
we're
check.
not used to 3 people here.
Oh
Normally
my
we
God.
just go
I
at it.
know.
Now
We
we have
just be
someone
going
else.
back
we
and
got
forth.
it,
I
yeah.
know the triangle.
But
Go
I
ahead.
mean, if you look at it, I mean, all the crap that he's gone through, you know, just, you know, the depression, you know, people coming at him crazy, you know, he's
Yeah.
not allowed to change his mind, his thoughts, his actions. You know, he's a growing human being like all of us. Our thoughts change every day. You know, today I love ketchup, tomorrow I hate ketchup. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But it's like for us religious people, you know, I'm not super religious, but when it comes down to it, gospel
You're the
is
most
a,
religious
it's a,
person we could find.
it's a safe place. It is.
Found you in the
When
archives.
everything is going crazy around you, literally, when everything is going crazy around you, you know, that sort of bubble of Christianity, it's kind of like a safe place.
Yeah.
Like, it's welcoming, you know.
Yeah.
Despite your fault, despite if you think you're a bad person, despite, you know, whatever you've done. It's like, okay, we accept you. This is who you are, and this is how you can be better, and this is how you can change your life for the better, you know, and the people around you. It's kind of like, it feels like a warm embrace, honestly. You know, like, I accept you. You're awesome.
Yeah.
You know. So, I just think it's important that he put out an album like this. Do I feel like it could have been better? Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, but like I said, he's been a Christian for less than a year. You know what I mean?
Full Christian, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
You
always
know?
been. He has a lot of like Christian influence throughout, you know, his whole discography. But
Of
this
course,
is now him
Jesus
going
Walks.
full.
Right.
That released 2
Fledged.
decades ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so
I mean, he said "Life of Pablo" was a gospel album.
I mean, I listen to it as a
that's
gospel
still out
album.
on the jury.
It was good.
There are a couple joints on there.
But
yeah.
one thing I will say about Kanye is, the Pusha T project that he did, I think could have been more biblical like that. I think that was a solid piece. Every song was amazing. I think it could have been more structured that way, where it was.
You're talking about Daytona, or are you talking
Yeah.
about the song on there? Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how that was produced. That was very biblical. That was like straight to the point. 7 tracks.
That was crazy.
Fire. Everything
Yeah.
was amazing. That was probably the best produced project out of that whole slew of things. I think this album could have been more like that, where it's like he gets everything out and he's like, I'm good. Push this out. So I think he could have did better with that. B, I think that as far as with going with what you said with putting like the churches and whatnot in the community in the center, it brings me back to a Nipsey interview on the Breakfast Club where he was saying, I believe it was the Breakfast Club, where he was saying that when he took a trip to Africa, he was saying that there was a time when like it was lunchtime or it was dinner, everything was shut down, all the shops shut down, everyone had to go home and eat as a family and community. And I think that's kind of like that utopia that Kanye's trying to build, where he puts the churches in the center everywhere, and it's kind of like, okay, when it's lunchtime or when it's, you know, whatever it is, dinner time, everyone just kind of stops, businesses close, things like that. I think that's the perfect utopia he's envisioning.
Yeah.
Will it happen?
Yeah.
I doubt it'll happen in his lifetime, obviously.
It's kind of like
but-
centering yourself.
Exactly. Like, it's like everyone stop, the violence stops.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
In that Zane Lowe interview, he made a lot of great points. You know, for those of I can't even talk. Those of you who don't know, Kanye did like a very long interview with Zane Lowe, and he made some great points about like building utopia and like how we're conditioned and you know, blah blah blah, and it's all well and fine, and it's great that he's that self-aware and aware of what's going on in the world, but I want to see you acting on your idea of, you know, the perfect world. Don't let me see you buy a Jesus piece half hour after your album drops. Like, show me that you're donating to this charity, or, you know, give a stack to a kid on the side of the street. Like, do something to show me that you fully believe in this and you're behind this movement. You're not just saying this to sound like, you know, more intelligent than you actually are, or trying to sound woo-woo-y, and so people, you know, because if you're not really listening to him or not really paying attention, like, you know, you're just like casually listening to the interview, you're gonna be like, wow, you know what?
It'll hit you.
He's right. Like, if I didn't have any preconceived notions about Kanye West and I heard that, I'd be like, wow, this guy really is onto something. Like, he's not like your typical rapper. Like, he's really on top of his shit, and he's like, he really wants to make a difference. Yeah. But then I see you copping a Jesus piece right away.
Or having a Lambo.
Yeah, talking about feeding your family when you're multi-millionaire. It's probably close to a B.
But,
you know,
and that's another thing. It's like, people get it so, it's such a misconception of like, okay, you can't be Christian and have money. You know what I mean? You can't show skin and be a Christian. It's not like that. People kind of like put that in, like, you're in a box. You know what I mean? They put you in a box, and you're not allowed to be yourself and be Christian at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's
Just because he's riding a Lambo does not make him less of a Christian. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
And if anything, like, I'm a fan of, especially Christians, or like, you know how people always kill the mega churches that make all this money and all this, and you know, and I'm sure there are a lot of corrupt, you know,
plenty
organizations that hide the money and all this, but it's like, you know, what about the ones that are actually helping people, or are actually donating millions to this or to that? And you know, if I'm the pastor that helped build this into, you know, nationwide empire, like, why shouldn't I have money? Why can't I get a couple $1 million a year? Yeah. I'm the one that built this.
That's true.
You know, and if anything, like, the more money I have, I'm supposed to live poorly and give all my resources to someone else and hope they do the right thing with it. No, I should, you know, be a man of God and be able to control, you know, what I want, and have my resources, you know, allocated to where they need to be.
I mean, that's the way society is built now, so it's kind of like you still want to be normal with society as well and still have all the things that you want too. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with having power. It's just using it in the right way.
Wisely. Like
in a non-corrupt way.
Right. Be about actions. Do use it with your actions. Like, okay, give us the gospel, but also just carry out what you said you were going to do.
And it's how you deliver the gospel. It's been repackaged so many times. So it's like him even pulling out this album, it's like it's repackaged differently. So of course, you know, people in the Christian community is like, oh, this is blasphemous. This is trash. We're not listening to this. This is Satan reading God's words. This is crazy. You know what I mean?
Do you think this is satanic at all, or do you see why people would think this might be like demonic or satanic?
No. I feel like people would kind of like shun it simply because it's Kanye. And because they would probably go off of what you were saying. Like, I mean, like, you're just kind of like throwing this album out here and not really going into depth about your spiritual journey. You know, we want to hear more about that.
You're not diving deep. You gave us samples. You gave us snippets. You're just trying to promote your clothing line. You're trying to big up yourself. Why do you need more money?
Why is the clothing on sale before the album even came out? Just like shit like that really rubs you the wrong way.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's business.
Money off of it.
It is business at the end of the day.
It's business.
That's
You know, album is a business.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's
you know,
the world we live in, bro. You need money to live. I'm sorry, you can't just have fruits and veggies and just call it a day.
I get that though, but it's how you do it. I have no problem with people making money off of religion and all, like, you know, I just said, but like, it's how you do it. You have to do things the right way. You have to make sure the optics are right. Yeah. You know, at least like release the clothing at the same time as the album. You know, or don't let me see you buying a Jesus piece right after this. Like I'll congratulate myself.
Is he still buying Jesus pieces?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there was a video. It was like an hour or two after he dropped the album. He was out buying a Jesus piece. Like, so happy and with his wife and all this shit. And that, you know, it's great you can afford to do that, but you just released an album about being a man of God and being humble.
But why is
and all
that a
this
bad
shit.
thing
Like,
if he cops
like you
it?
can't tell me you're the greatest artist of all time, hands down, and be a man of God and be, at least in my opinion, you can't. You're not above that. Like you're not. I feel like if you're a man of God or whatever you want to call it, you need to be humble. You need to realize, like, I'm blessed to have all these, you know, not powers, but like these blessings where I can, you know, be an artist and manifest these things into the world. But
true.
Say, like, you can't publicly say that I'm the greatest artist of all time.
Why not?
You just can't say that.
Why can't he say that?
Because he's not.
So Lil Wayne can't
Like,
say he's the best rapper alive. That's an opinion.
But that's a different conversation.
No, it's not.
He's not trying to be a man.
But he's putting his opinion out there.
No, but it's different though, because he's not pretending to be, like, he's not dropping a gospel album.
No,
he's not
'cause
pretending
he's
to be a
not
man of God. He's just saying it. You can
But-
say whatever you want to
but
say,
at
but
the
now
end
that
of-
you're this, now that he's this guy, you can't just, like,
he's-
casually say that in an interview.
But he's Kanye though.
But see,
So he can.
Yeah. that's a societal.
And that-
No, that's that
it's the
society
box.
box. That's that box everyone.
And that's the
no,
thing
no,
is, just
that's-
because he put an album out and bought a Jesus piece, it doesn't mean it. This is things that he does. This is normal.
I would just much rather
just because
see
he put out a
you-
gospel album doesn't make him less of Kanye. He's still Kanye. That's not going to change.
I mean, when Drake made God's Plan and was handing out the money to all those people, I'd rather see something like that.
But
right
that's
after
the
he
thing.
released
You
this
see
album.
it. It doesn't make it genuine. He could have been doing
But
just
I
because it was a
still-
message song.
If
He
I
could have
had
been
my
fake as-
doubts,
Can I
have my
curse?
doubts. Yeah, you can curse on
He
that.
could
You're
have
allowed
been
to
fake
curse.
as fuck with that message, but just because he decided to put it out there and make it look appeasing
But
to
at
what
least-
you want to
No,
see,
but that's what I'm saying,
doesn't
though. At
make
least
it
have the
less
decency.
doesn't make it valid at all.
You have
Like-
to at least have the decency to lie to me. Like, at least
God.
you can't.
Come on,
you
God.
have to lie to D in the right way.
Yeah, you have to at least give me the decency of pretending.
You gotta
Cross
take
your
me
T's
out.
and dot your eyes.
You gotta take
Yeah.
him out. You gotta give him
You gotta
flowers.
finesse him.
Like,
You
behind
gotta
closed
finesse
doors,
You
him.
gotta whisper sweet nothings in D's
Oh
ear.
my gosh.
like, if you really,
Caress
really,
his beard. He has a nice beard, by the way.
His
if you
beer
really
game is
sell-
crazy.
like, if he really sold his image to me about him being a new person and all that, like, he would have gave you, like, a God's Plan-ish rollout right after this. But no, he's still all about himself, all about, you know, his
It's
journey.
marketing. It's how you
all
market
about
it.
him being so great. But, like, if he all he had to do was, like, go to one kid and hand him a stack on the side of the street. That would have been viral. Kanye's the greatest. You know, God is great. Kanye's, you know, man of God, man of Jesus Christ, whatever you want to call it. But he hasn't given me anything. Like, he just runs his mouth and does nothing to back up what he says. Which is why I'm very skeptical that this is
bro.
this is all bullshit.
You have to wait and see what he does, man.
This is
Come
just
on,
the
man.
beginning.
He said, literally, he said what? Everything Kanye is doing is for the church. We said his clothes, his merchandise. He said it's a 20-year vision. 20-year vision, bro. We're going to be in our 40s.
And you know what? Let me get on the Sunday service thing, too. Like, the whole Sunday service revolves around him. Like, I'm not seeing him. I'm just saying, like, if I was, like, I don't know, if I wanted to be a Christian, right? If I wanted to convert over and be, like, full-fledged whatever.
Yeah.
I would seek out individuals that are, like, way further down the line than I am. That are quote-unquote experts or quote-unquote, you know, the authorities on these things.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like his Sunday service thing is just all about himself. And then he tries to, like, get around not doing the work by saying, oh, well, this isn't like a official church. It's more of like a gathering. Just like a safe space for us to come around and love each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds like very cult-ish, very fake, very phony. You know, and it makes me believe that this is just part of like an album rollout and not really him being...
Sounds like a festival.
Yeah,
But,
like
I
not
mean-
really being a man of God.
I
like
mean,
just
but
being,
at the same time,
just, like,
what
being me.
do they call it when you put out a new album and you have like a
Release party? Listening
right
party?
an album release party? How do we know that wasn't that? You know what I mean? That is
yeah.
a safe space. That is where we come together and listen to good music and feel good and you know ride off these vibes. It's the same thing.
Well, who's like a very popular, I don't know, like Christian voice today?
Kirk?
That's
Or
not
you want to
even
dive
shit.
deeper than that?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, and that's another thing. It's like this is nothing new. Christian rap it's been around for years.
It's Christian rock, too.
And rock,
Just,
exactly.
like,
It's been around.
Put your arm around T.D. Jakes, or put your arm around
He's a preacher.
like Kirk Franklin.
Okay.
There we go, better.
Or put your arm around, or at least give me, like I just said,
But
give
that-
me the decency of at least putting your arm around one person of influence that is like
But
10,
that's the
20
thing.
years
He put
beyond
Fred
you
Hammond
and
on the-
learn from them.
He put Fred Hammond. If those of you don't know who he
Most
is,
people don't
look
know
him
who
up.
that is.
Fred Hammond came out literally Alicia Keys' first album came out. Fred Hammond came out. Then Mary came out with their first album around that time. I forgot how old I was. It was
2000 and
crazy.
2000s, yeah.
So they were basically, I mean, musically, they were babies of Kirk Franklin. You know what I mean? That bop, you know, that you hear, you know, that uplifting bop that you hear on radios in the 90s and stuff like that. Or 2000s. That was them. You know, they were kind of like that wave to put us on that vibe of, okay, we're breaking out of the traditional gospel music, you know, let's add a little, you know, little snare, little bop to it, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it. It gave gospel a different voice. And it was, Fred Hammond was one of those where he added a little jazz, he added a little hip hop, he added a little just extra to the music, and it just made it feel like it wasn't just gospel. It was R&B, it was soul, it was everything in his album.
Okay. So you're telling us to skip this album and just listen to Fred Hammond instead?
I mean, Hands On is like, when I first heard it, I was just like, bruh. Yeah,
she called him out and she was like, is that Fred Hammond? I was like, I don't know who that is, but yeah, it's him.
This is amazing. And I'm so glad like he put him on that, because I was just like, he gets it. Like, you know, he actually put somebody on there that actually was like, you know, a trailblazer for gospel. You know, I do wish he put Kirk Franklin on there. Yolanda Adams, I wish he put on there.
Or why isn't Chance on this?
That's what I was saying.
But he always has Chance on stuff, though.
That's true.
And he had Kirk Franklin on The Life of Pablo.
Look at The Life of Pablo, though. The first, I forget the name of the song.
Ultralight Beam.
Ultralight Beam. Yeah. And then All We Got on Chance's project. Like, those are two, like, those are the two, like, gospel-ish, Christian-y songs that I want on this, I wanted on this project. And I didn't get any of that. They're just so far from what I
mean, but like you said, this seems like it was rushed. So, I mean, like, you know, but that's the thing. Like, you never know what Kirk was up to. You don't know what Chance was doing. You know, Chance is in Happy Land right now. So, you don't know. And Chance is always late, by the way. Let's just be honest. He's the reason why Kanye's The Life of Pablo was late anyway, right? Isn't that the thing? Or no? Or, yeah, wasn't that the case?
Well, that was one of the reasons.
And also, let's go back. Childish Gambino, because the internet, that one song, what was it, Sweatshirt or Sweater or something like that, where it was supposed to have Chance on it. Oh yeah, all she needed was something.
Yeah, he was just on the hook on that.
Yeah, he was, because he was late. So Chance has a history of being late with his stuff, and Kanye probably wanted to just get it out. Like, I ain't got time.
So I saw this tweet. This tweet that said Kanye and Chance knowing they have the worst albums of the year.
Look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Look at us.
D is so crazy.
Yo, D, you salty. So stop it. Stop it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, bro.
You know what? How about let's dig into the songs now. Let me, guys, we'll be back for our deep dive into every single song.
Hey.
On Jesus is King.
Let's
Jesus
go.
Is King.
Here's a word from our sponsors. All right, guys.
We back.
And we're back. This is live footage of Yahya 3 seconds in to hearing Kanye's Jesus is King.
You're a fool.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
I love you, man.
That was one of the unreleased snippets with the freestyle breakdown that I wanted on this.
I can't.
Alright, guys, let's get into it. Track 1, Trump All Day. What were your thoughts on Trump All Day?
Trump All Day?
Trump All Day.
You mean every hour?
You guys don't have Trump All Day on your breakdown?
Jesus is King?
What about Bill Cosby Innocent? You
oh my God, bro. You bullshit right now. I'm like, wait, Trump All Day? What you talking about?
You want to skip down to track 3, Slavery Was a Choice? Or no? You guys don't have that one either?
You're stupid.
Oh, God.
I must have had the deluxe version of this one.
Yeah, bullshit.
I'll review those on the Patreon.
Tune into the Patreon account, guys.
Speaking of which, I think that was you was talking about a mindset, not necessarily the situation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Jesus is King.
All right.
Every hour. Kanye West featuring the Sunday Service Choir.
Hey.
Thoughts?
I love it.
That was everything.
That was the intro for those days.
Everything. It brought me back, honestly. That's what I grew up on. That was something.
Yeah, that track was life.
That was everything.
That track was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I mean, it was
a great intro, man. It sounded like it opened up to like be a classic. That's what I got when I listened to that. I was like, oh, he's about to go in.
I texted you and I said, this is going to be the best day of our lives while I was listening
10 minutes later.
And then 10 minutes later, I said, this is garbage. I hate this bullshit.
This is garbage, man. What the F is this?
I didn't I loved the intro. I just hated how it ended so abruptly. Like, why couldn't you have like a beat breakdown, and then give me maybe one shortened verse, or give me a taste as to why you were. Like, give me, like, the thesis.
You could have gave me, like, a testimonial, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Even
have
if he
them, like,
talked.
go down low on top of the, you know, on top of
Even
them
if he
singing
talked
and,
or
like,
something.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like a sermon or something
Exactly,
like
a
that.
testimony.
Yeah, give me something.
Like, I definitely wanted him to, like, I was waiting for him to say, like preach or something.
Something.
You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like how, what was the last one? Was it Ye? The last one? Ye. He was like, the intro is, I thought about killing you, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, the beat drops and he just goes in. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he could have took the acapella of that and just put that in.
Yeah.
And that would have said something.
Like,
I
wanted
him
like,
to fuck with your head. And be
I was hoping he was going
to
Kirk Franklin something. I thought he was going to get up in there and just say some, like, spoken word. It's like something dope. But
I mean, he could have got Sahai to write him something. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Yay.
Yeah.
See, that's lazy. That's what I'm talking about. This track one, we're already getting into the problems with it. Like,
the nitty gritty.
Shortened version of a song.
I mean, overall, it's a great intro. I mean, I think we just kind of wanted a little bit more. We just want him to talk his stuff. You know what I mean?
And then when we go into track 2, how do you say it? Sella? Sella?
Sella.
Is that a Bible reference? Or?
Not that I know
Sella.
of.
But then that sounds like totally different sonically, and that sounded like that should have been the intro. So like already they're like we're
that
not
kind of
very
hit
cohesive.
That hit me a little hard with this track. I loved it. I thought it was great, man. I mean, he kind of references Ultralight Beam as well, from the Life of Pablo project.
It kind of sounded like a Life of Pablo throwaway. But he like
it didn't make the cut, or Yandi.
Like,
it could have been on maybe the Yandi project that he scrapped.
Yeah. I mean, there's just there's something missing on this for me. It just kind of seemed like the verses. I guess we were talking about this before too, how he was trying to cram so much in to every song that it just came across as being very superficial and very simplistic.
So Sella means exclamation.
Oh, okay.
Oh, in the Bible.
And like
Acclamation. Yeah, acclamation.
Okay.
Occurring frequently at the end of a verse in Psalms.
Okay.
It's a musical direction.
So like this is him putting an exclamation point on the album. So then why not start with this? Like this should have been the intro. And then you could have had every hour be in the middle with like a spoken word like bridge to get us into the second half of the album that may or may not sound sonically different. This is free advice. True. Dude, I should be Kanye's like what do you call it? His not assistant. I need like a better title.
Engineer
for that. Like
Yeah.
his
sound engineer. I don't know.
His artistic director or something, or like artistic direction.
I mean,
assistant.
but
So it means like calling for a break in the singing. So it kind of makes sense.
it makes sense because of the segue.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Kanye is like he thinks deeper than what it actually is. So
I still don't like it.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like when I used to go to church when I was younger, they would always bring us in when everyone got situated. Like the church I went to, they would start with like the choir. And then, okay, everybody gets settled down.
Bow
and
your
then
heads
they
and
start.
close your eyes.
Yeah.
Introduction into, saying a prayer,
Yeah, like church used to be lit. So it start in and you're just everyone get in there, they close the doors and then the choir just getting it in and you're like, "Oh, this is hard." And
It
then
still
they
is
start,
lit.
you know
I
what I
think
mean?
go to that kind of church.
Yeah, these churches are still lit.
Oh, that
but
was
it
in the
just
hood. That was in the
depends.
hood.
Yeah, you have to go to a hood church. Everyone,
Yeah, I go to North Philly
if
church.
you don't know a hood church, you better find out. You better go check one out.
Yo, look them up on Google. Make sure they got a 5-star review.
Seriously, Yelp reviews, all of that. All of that.
They gotta have gold doors.
Oh
The
my
Mussolini
God.
need to be outside.
Yo, your pastor better have a mink on.
Looking like Coming to America.
No, seriously, if he has a mink on, just walk out.
Yeah, that's it. That's Cat Williams right there. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Could you imagine?
I have no idea what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, go ahead. But anyway.
I'm dead.
But yeah, anyway, I mean, like, let's just be honest. Like, every song is, I mean, about 2 minutes and something.
Can I get
It's
one
a
more?
full body of work.
When I was listening to this today with Sella,
Yeah.
I had that thought and I was like, you know what? Like, I could have just wrote this song. Like at the end when he has like the Bible verses, I just kind of felt like he's like, oh, insert Bible verse here, insert Bible verse there, like John 8:33, John 8:36, and then let me take like the cliff note of what that means and then just
Or he should.
plop it in the song and make it sound like deeper than.
There's so many
it
ways he
actually
could have
is.
did this. Like he could have broke down each song into like a Bible verse or a Bible verse like Psalms. Like his son, or isn't his son named Psalm or something like that?
Or like another song. Like, how about you give me some insight into your personal life, your family life, your marriage, your kids, your struggles. why'd you become a Christian? Like,
Yeah,
what's really
like-
going on in
Yeah.
here?
Like kind of like
Don't give me the superficial bullshit.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, it's like, tell me, okay, some people think you're a hypocrite. Tell me why. Like, you already know that people think you're a hypocrite.
Right.
Break that down for us. Like, what are your struggles so I can feel you more? Like, okay, you're buying a Lambo. Why did you buy the Lambo? I bought the Lambo because how does Kim feel about this transformation? How do you feel about, when you said the comment that he made that got them into the argument in the first place? Like, talk about that. Like, put that in the music so I could be like, oh, I feel that. Even if I'm not with Christianity, or even if I'm like, that's not my thing, I could just say, I could still say, I feel you.
Demons.
Yeah, I could still say, I feel you though.
Right.
Another album where Kanye glosses over his mental health, even though he's one of the craziest people in the music industry. Like, I don't know.
Self-proclaimed.
Yeah, like he always talks about the importance of mental health and all this shit and like being in a good place, but then he's like, all right, instead of talking about that or helping others in that situation by giving me like a Kid Cudi-ish album, or something along those lines, I'm just gonna gloss over it and release a gospel album. But
I mean,
I don't know.
he was saying like the Christians are going to be the first ones to judge him, on hands-on.
I believe that.
But I'm not a Christian. I'm not a full-fledged Christian though, so I'm allowed.
You don't have
I'm
to be.
around the loophole there.
But you're judging based
I'm
on
a
his
fair
hypocrisy
judgment.
though.
Yeah.
You're judging based on like, yo,
I mean,
I don't
he's
see
gonna-
you doing this stuff.
I'm judging him as a fan since I was 14.
I mean, we've been fans
Now,
forever. Like, all of us have been Kanye
Not
fans for
only
a
a
long
fan,
run.
like my favorite artist. Like,
Yeah, no, he's in my top five.
I'm
He was always in my top
personally,
five.
like,
Yeah.
emotionally. Like he's like feels like someone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so like when you listen to someone so much, I mean you guys know like you read between the lines of everything they do, everything they say, everything
You read
they
every
put out,
headline,
and like you put things together. I mean there was a point in my life too where like Kanye and I were kind of going through similar things, and like he had like graduation. I was like right after high school, like I'm on top of the world, everything's great. 808s comes out. I'm going through my first like serious breakup. Like there was like those couple albums that were coming out. It's like we're in the same exact place with each other, and to see you become what you're becoming, I just want you to come back around to like
like his whole
to here, right here.
Yeah.
Those of you who can't stand me, I'm patting my chest. I want you to come back to a place in my heart where like I love you. And
it has to be something that kind of resonates with you. I think
It has to connect.
There has to be a connection, and this album is kind of, it does not connect.
It's surface.
Yeah, it's just he's literally just like Chelsea was saying. He's kind of just sticking his big toe in the water right now. He's just testing the waters. He's not full fledged, but that's why I keep comparing it to Yeezus, because I'm like, Yeezus was a test. It was a test project that you either loved it or you hated it. There was really no in between.
He needed to go all in. He needed to go balls deep into this album, and he did not.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just a tip.
Yeah.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. You nasty.
Jesus is king.
That's it.
You saying that on live air? You nasty.
Yeah.
You already know what it is,
You can get us
baby. I don't even
canceled.
know.
I know what it is, but we ain't gotta let the
Can't be
people
saying
know
that.
that.
They know now.
This is Sunday service, baby. What you doing?
Oh man.
We gonna handle that later though.
Oh
But-
man. Oh sidebar. Segue.
Life like this is what your life like. Try to live your life right. People really know you push your buttons like type right. This is like a movie, but it's really very lifelike. Every single night, right? Every single fight, right? I was
Pass the Aux Pod, episode 10.
Pass the Aux Pod _ Dante Silva.
Follow,
Unique
like, subscribe, comment.
EUNEKEPOV.
Pray for us. Contact us, text us, call us. Right.
_03. Follow.
Follow me on Instagram. You know what it is.
Yep, she got a fashion blog too, just to
Follow
let
God.
y'all know. So make sure y'all follow her on her fashion blog. It's Fuego.
This might be the greatest spot on the album besides the Kenny G solo.
What
at the
on?
end of Use the
Which
Gospel.
one? Follow God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I love the sample. I'm riding with the beat.
Oh, you can rock to this.
Kanye
Yeah.
like starts to go in, but I didn't get to the point where I was like jumping out of my seat. Kind of like how like on Yikes on the last album.
Yeah.
That was like my favorite song on that. And,
Yep.
like, he was like almost back in his old Kanye flow,
Getting in
talking
the bag,
shit,
yeah.
like making me like
Bounce.
bounce, rock my head, get all crazy. And like I kind of did that a little bit. Like I was nodding my head a little bit, but like I was waiting for him to like slam that exclamation point down, or like have like the beat break down, or have him say something so nuts where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like hallelujah. Like I didn't get that. Yeah. So I never got
You
that.
gotta be
Oh
weak over
my
there, bro.
I'm sorry, I don't know this man.
I never met Dante. Like that.
He can be walking down the street. I wouldn't know.
I walk right past Dante. I don't know you, dog. But no, I think honestly the last track, in my opinion, where Kanye really got into the bag lyrically was the No Parties in LA track. That's where he actually like
Mm-hmm.
went heavy. That's the part
If
where
you would've gave
for
me
the
something
first
like that
time
on this-
ever,
Yeah.
I was like, I think he got one over Kendrick on this one because it was like I actually had to debate like who got the harder verse because Kanye went in. I was like, that's never happened. Anytime Kendrick come on, it's just like you're dead. He just killed your whole song. But like that was the only track I was like, yo, he got back in that college dropout bag.
He
He
definitely.
went back in there. I had to actually think about it. Who got the best verse. That was the last like true old Kanye like rapping where he was going in, but other than that, it's kind of like he's just been throwing us samples the whole time, or like he'll go in like 75%, and I'm waiting for that last 25 for him to just bang on.
Well, that was the
and he
thing.
just
Like
doesn't.
when I was reading through the lyrics today, and I'm like, wow, like this sounds a lot better when I read it.
Yeah.
But like there was something missing with the tone. Like he wasn't angry enough, or he wasn't like energetic enough with it. It kind of just sounded like he's like reading the lyrics off the page, not giving you his all. You know, like how you're just saying, like when he could do his rapidy rap.
Oh, he goes in.
And on this, if he would have done a little more rapidy rap, it would have been great. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like if he put more passion into it, like he did in Jesus Walks, into this album,
Oh, I was
would've been
expecting Jesus
fire.
Walks type energy.
It would have been so lit. It's
I was
like
expecting
Fire and
that.
Brimstone meets rap.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that would
there's
have
something
been.
missing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's the meds.
But
He
but you know what? I'm gonna
he
be
should have
honest.
got off his meds.
I'm
for
gonna be
this,
Still a little mellowed him out a little
crazy.
bit.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all though. He probably taking a placebo anyway. But anyway, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think
I don't
that
think so.
taking a placebo.
he too hype. But,
You heard it here first, folks. Kanye West is
Sugar
taking
pills.
his mental illness.
Taking sugar pills. But I think that he's gonna take all the reviews and criticism and he gonna throw out a banger, and we all gonna be like, "That's the Kanye I know that goes in." I think that's what he's gonna do. I think that he's gonna be that person to take all this criticism, like the.
You think he's just going through a really rough time in his life and he's trying to figure
I think
it
the
out?
transformation is just so crazy. He's just trying to. But that's the thing. Another thing is like Kanye don't really care about other people's opinions. So that's why I'm also kind of puzzled why he didn't just go balls deep in this thing. That's the other thing that confuses me because I'm like he usually
You know
never
what it might
cares, huh?
You know what it might be.
What?
He hasn't lost it all. He hasn't lost everything. He has to break himself down to nothing. He's still being held by the
Well, my dark twisted
riches.
fantasy was
the superficial way of life.
yeah.
You can't do both. You have to lose it all. And
But damn,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm only thinking of that because what was the song? I have it written down here. He has where is it? It's a line about the Book of Job, and he's like, "Oh, I thought the Book of Job was a job, or something." When I thought the Book of Job was a job, the devil had my soul. I can't lie. Life's gonna have some lows and highs. And then the Book of Job is about
what song is that?
It is on God.
Oh, okay.
And
That's his most
I just
popular
only
one
skimmed
on here.
over it, but like apparently
Yeah.
there was like a story in the Bible about one of the followers of Jesus, and then the devil was I'm probably butchering this, but like the devil was telling God like, hey, like he's only following you because you're giving him all these great things, and then God stripped him of all of his riches, his family, and all this shit, and he was just on his own, and he still followed the word of God. Like he was broken down and stuck by him. And then proved his, worth to God, or whatever. So blah blah blah. So,
That's the gist of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Good job,
Oh, yeah.
D.
There you go. There you go.
If you guys want a deeper dive into the Book of Job, go to our Patreon account. It's under our Christianity tab. So, yeah.
You know what? I gotta pull this up right now.
I'm dead.
So,
I gotta.
But, yeah, but like when I read that, like something really hit me.
I
It's
don't
like,
sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
Sorry
when we
to
get our
this
soundboard,
man.
That's gonna be Chelsea's go-to. Soundboard.
She's gonna have a
I don't know
subsection on the
this man
Patreon
here.
account, Christianity_ Chelsea Lewis.
But I mean, that really did
That
hit
is
me though.
too
Like,
heavy of a title.
But when they said that, like, that really hit me.
I don't take responsibility for any of that. I know what I know, and that's it.
I know what I know.
I said what I
man.
said.
What did Lil Wayne say? I do what I do and let others do what they can do about it.
Hey.
Yeah, bro. Millie. Check that out.
Yeah, here we go. Next one.
Oh my god.
Everything we need. Oh. Closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
Pass the Aux Pod. Pass the Aux Pod.
This intro is a lot longer than I remember it being.
I mean, you can skip it, bro. You don't have to give him the whole thing.
Nah, you gotta give them to him.
close on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A.
All right, next song.
I love it. Closed on Sunday.
No.
You're my Chick-fil-A. I love that.
Fam,
I
come
love
on.
that line. I love me some Chick-fil-A, bro.
You know, in my notes when I was doing this, all I put was the emoji with the eyes like this, like with the eyes looking up. I was like, oh no. No.
Oh no.
That's one of those lines where it's like, oh, this is so funny and clever, but then after the first time you hear it, you're like, oh no, no, don't do this. No. Did you guys like that?
What?
The line, the Chick-fil-A line.
I thought it was funny.
That was funny.
That was funny to me. Yeah.
You guys liked it?
I love Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A, bro.
You guys are biased.
Well, how am I biased? I love
Chick-fil-A.
Bro, I love chicken, bro, for obvious reasons. It's chicken.
Also, does Kanye know that Chick-fil-A condemns gay people?
Yeah, I heard about that too.
What are his thoughts on homosexuals?
I don't know. He's gonna have to make a track about it, bro.
That's going to be a touchy subject. If he mentions anything homophobic, they will come after his ass.
They will kill
full
him.
throttle.
Well,
That's a third
the
of
thing,
the
like,
population.
that's another one of those things he conveniently decides to leave out of his Christian rollout.
He should. That should be untouched. That's
Maybe he
something
doesn't
you cannot.
care. Like,
you can't touch
He's
that.
fine with that. I'm pretty
There's
sure
a lot
he
of
doesn't care
people
about that
who
stuff.
are Christian and then go after people who are
See, there's a lot of Christians that do that, and they're like, you
who will
can't
go
be this, you
after
can't be homophobic.
who say that, and it's like, and that's what makes it hypocritical. You
This
know
is
what I mean?
another one of those things too, where like I wish he would come out and like put his arm around someone that's gay and said we love God, or
Oh my God,
we're
he
both
doesn't have
Christians.
to do that.
It's okay for us. It's we're brothers in arms or something. I don't
But
know,
see, the
it seems
thing
some
is
bullshit.
like people talk
I don't know.
about gay and stuff like that, like it's a thing. I'm pretty sure like Kanye don't care. You know what I
But
mean?
then
Like
he needs to verbalize.
I'm talking
that he
to
doesn't
everybody.
care.
No, he doesn't. He
I
just
think
he
he
just
does.
doesn't need to talk about
He
it.
doesn't need to put his statement on anything simply because they're going to take
Yeah.
it and chop it and
No,
screw
we need
it
to- we
and
need
be
to
like,
find one
oh,
of
he
our
said
gay
this
friends
about
and
this.
Get him on. We need to put a pin in this and then wait till we get a gay
my
person here
God.
to talk about it. But
We love gay
Just
people
another-
here
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
of
don't
all
get it.
sizes,
And that's
I don't
the
know if
thing. I don't even
I came
mention
across as
of every
homophobic at
color
all.
of the
Yeah.
rainbow. We
Yeah, I
love
don't-
you.
I don't mention when I talk to
Yeah,
people. I'm
don't take
talking
my
to
comments the
everybody.
wrong way.
You straight, you gay, transsex. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you are.
Yo, Frank Ocean, come on the show.
Live your
We'll
best
talk
Of
about
life.
course, hell yeah, Frank need to come on the show, bro. Shit.
it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, man. Add him to the Patreon account. Y'all gotta pay for that one.
What else is on here? On God. We already kind of talked about that, right?
Yeah, we talk. I mean, that's his
Alright.
most notable track. Everybody knows that one.
That's another one of those songs too, where it just felt like
Well, that's where the
It
dad
was-
comes in, where we were like, "Yo, well, this is your 9th album, and you just now talking about your dad, A. So tell me more, because I don't know who that man is.
I don't know who this man is.
I never met this guy. I don't know. Who
this
that
is when they made. Nah, On God's the one where Twitter said this is the best song. Everyone on Twitter is like, "Oh, this is the standout. This is the standout."
It is.
And
That's a standout.
You thought it was a standout?
I mean, it's his most standout because it's got like, I don't know. It's like the first one I heard. Oh, there's a lot of songs on here I like. Honestly.
That's alright. That was the one where they made a 350 comment, and we already talked about that earlier. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, we just wish we collectively said that we wish he had dug deeper into what was going on with.
Everything We Need with Ty Dolla $ign.
I love Ty Dolla
Dollar
$ign.
sign.
But I actually heard that before, by the way. I heard that song before because remember I told you there was like a Yandi release.
Oh, they leaked it.
Yeah, that song is already. I've heard that already, so I kind of like skipped that one. I like it. I just skipped it because I was like, I heard this already.
This is one of those songs where I wrote Kanye. It feels like Kanye saying what he's supposed to say. I put "supposed to" in air quotes.
He brought back the Life of Pablo.
Like there
vibes
are
with
some
that
songs
joint.
where he's like getting there from what I want from it, but he doesn't go fully in. Like we were just saying.
He definitely gets back into his like Pablo bag with that track. I think like that's definitely a Life of Pablo song in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean Water. I think Water's the best song on this. It's one of the only songs that I thought was finished. It felt finished. It felt flushed out. I mean lyrically it was great. I love the fact that he actually at least acted like he was vulnerable and actually giving himself up, to Jesus. Like when he's like saying, Jesus flow through us, Jesus heal the bruises, Jesus clean the music, please, Jesus please use us, Jesus please help us. Like that's what I want. I want the Kanye that needs help, and why he needs help. I want to know why. Don't just gloss over everything. Like I felt that track. Like this is the standout for me.
Yeah.
By far.
I mean even Ant's verse was dope. I mean the storm may come, but we'll get through it with your love. Either way, we crash like water. Your love's water. Pure as water. We are water. Like,
yeah, like
I
that's
like that.
a good song. I'd like
That
you
was
could tell
dope,
like they
yeah.
took the time flushed it out.
That was a
everything.
full
He had
thought.
that.
I would say that was a full out thought. Like it was a completed thought. I would say.
Yeah.
It wasn't like bouncing around, or it wasn't like, okay, this is a snippet. You know, I'm kind of good on this one. I think I said
that
what I
song's been sitting there for a while. And they've been waiting to get that out. Well, that was a song he did too. When they did the Sunday service at Coachella, this was the one song that he did preview for everyone. So I thought that was great. By the way, that was a real bright spot for me. A couple months ago, the Coachella when they did the little the little Pete thing. I thought that was great.
Nah,
I was having the time of my life up here. I was sitting upstairs, bumping the music, loving it, vibing out. Kanye seemed like he was in a great place then, so I don't know. I do have to say, let me talk to Kanye for a second. I do want to say I do love you. Me being critical of you is coming from a place of love.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so if you hear this and lash out and think no one gets me and all this, it's like, no, I get you. I'm saying this because I know you so well that I want to see you become the person that you say you're becoming. So
we just want you to be greater. That's all.
I mean, he self-proclaimed himself as like the greatest artist ever, and I think that he can be if he just continues doing what he's doing. But like
follow
just
through,
showing, just follow through with everything. And then it's like, that's the thing, because he's molding the path that's his own. He's not following the norm, and that's one thing that Kanye says interview after interview after interview. He's like, why do you have to do this? Why do I have to conform to what everyone else says? And that's why I like Kanye a lot, because he is the guy who keeps us guessing. Like, are you a hypocrite? Are you fake? Are you doing this for antics? Like, what are you doing? But I like that. Like, he keeps us kind of in limb the whole time, but then he reels us back in somehow. And Kanye's done that over his entire career. You realize he's done that. He's like drawn us away, and he's brought us back, and he's drawn us away again, and we're like, what the hell are you doing, Kanye? And then he brings us back. He's been doing that his whole career, but it's all his thought process. You know what I mean? It's like how I'm feeling this day, this is what's going on. He has epiphanies left and right. You know what I mean? He takes time off. He focuses on himself. He tries to get himself better. Then he comes out with something where like, I don't know what this is. Then like, 10 months later, we're like, I get it. Or like even 2 years, 3 years later, we're like, I get it. So like he's always that person. He just keeps me intrigued all the time. So I think that he really can be, and they always say in every book that we read, every self-help book that we like, they all say the same thing. You got to speak it. And you got to walk that walk. So he has to really walk that walk, but like he's already spoken everything he's going to do in existence. So now we just got to see him comply with everything. And I think that would be the ultimate test of like, okay, are you going into history books, or is it just like, all right, dude, we're full of shit and you let us on the whole time. So that's what I'm excited to see. Like I'm not slandering him for anything. I'm not calling him a hypocrite for anything, because a lot of us are hypocrites ourselves with stuff, that we say like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm righteous, and then like you'll mess around and do something stupid, and it's like, okay, but I'm still righteous. Like, well, not really. You know what I mean? So everybody has their thing. It's just he's in the spotlight, we're not. So we can make mistakes and fuck up, he can't on anything, which is unfair.
But he does anyway.
He does a lot.
Human.
He does, but he's
So,
human. We're all
yeah.
humans, right? So he says not man versus the machine. He said man is the machine. So I think that we can control.
It's deep.
Right?
Yeah, he said that on the Dane Low interview. I was like, yo, that was on the money, bro. Like
He did drop some gems in that interview.
he did.
I just hope that he means everything he says.
Yeah, I wanted Zane Lowe, and he really doesn't do this, but I wanted him to play more devil's advocate and challenge Kanye more. He kind of
Zane
lets
Lowe
him.
just flossed everyone the entire interview.
He kind of bigs him up, and I agree with this. I agree with that. He doesn't really challenge that. And if in an interview, I want to take everything apart. Like, show me, like, why do you see it this way?
Were you listening when they did the comment about him building the hurricane-proof homes? And then, like, I guess, like, a gust of wind was going out. He was in Wyoming for this, so, like, the gust of wind was out there. And he was, I guess, distracted by it for a second. He was like, oh, wow, look, I mean, it's almost like a hurricane out there, or something along those lines. And Zane Lowe he's like, oh, yeah, you're right, mate. You're right. It's like, bro, like, what? You're a little too agreeable with
But
this.
that's the
It's
same thing with, like,
stupid,
with Zane Lowe with the just throwing it back with the Drake interview. We got no information out of Drake. Like, it was like, bro, did they tell you, like, yo, don't ask none of these questions?
Nah, it's just well, it's Apple Music.
That's true.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's not like it's
want.
Joe Budden.
They're not,
or like Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club, because Charlamagne gonna dig deep. Like,
dude, I would kill to see that interview.
What?
Joe Budden and Kanye West in a room, by them, like just alone in a room.
They didn't do one yet, right? He did one with Charlamagne, right? He did one with Charlamagne.
Charlamagne did. Charlamagne's another one too. Like, he acts like he's very aggressive or very forward, not forward thinking, but asks the right questions. But he's very Zane Lowe too at times.
It depends on what it is. Like if it's like real hip hop, he's kind of like yes man in a lot of stuff. He doesn't challenge that much. But when it's like stuff that's new and it's not with the old bag like the Griselda sound, he's not really with it. He'll challenge that stuff. But like when it comes to like,
he'll only attack the people that he can get away with attacking.
Yeah, like the up and comers. You know, him and Kanye actually, I think they are really cool. So
he did say Yeezus was trash to his face. So
yeah.
Yeah, I respect him a little bit for that.
Yeah. I mean, I like when Sharp, but I think Joe Budden would be the ultimate person to like dissect some stuff.
Well, yeah, they'll
go back and forth.
I mean, he's like on a full-fledged boycott.
He don't care about shit.
So like, it would be great to see.
But you'll get a lot of information out, which is great. You know, and honestly, I think Joe Budden pisses people off to the point where they'd be like,
they'll say anything.
You know what? Yeah, they'll say anything, and then they'll be like, you know, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Right.
And then that might give them more initiative to follow through with this stuff. You know what I mean? So I personally like it. I don't mind it. But yeah.
Did we miss any other tracks on here?
We got God Is. We didn't talk about the hands-on track. Did we talk about that with Fred Hammond?
Oh no,
we did like a slight. Yeah.
Like a slight thing.
Yeah.
I was talking about how I hate how he flips the truth of Jesus Christ to defend all of his actions.
And I was talking a little bit about Fred Hammond about
God Is.
Yeah, about
Fred
like
Hammond.
the background and whatnot, which was dope.
Fred Hammond, come on the show.
Yo, that'd be sick. I gotta go back in the bag. I gotta listen to some Fred Hammond.
Use the gospel. This was the real letdown. You have Kenny G with the clips and Kanye on the track.
I love
it
clips.
Sounded like they just like copy and pasted like half of a verse.
It was too
It
short.
wasn't the old clips, of course. It will never ever be the old clips because the old clips is gone and dead.
Yeah.
And it just didn't sound like
it's only one half of clips.
It's only one half of clips. It didn't seem like it just wasn't clips. It wasn't. It wasn't.
It was toned down.
But
it was bad.
How do you feel about having a push verse on a gospel album?
I love Push.
I love
so
Push.
do I, but on a gospel album,
but that's the thing. I feel like he's more close to the gospel than Kanye is.
Really?
I do.
What makes you
Push
say
it?
that?
I feel like that.
Yeah,
the way
elaborate on that.
I feel like that because of his lyricism. You know, like if you read the Bible, it's very poetic. What is Push? Poetic,
very
spoken
poetic.
word.
That's true.
You know what I mean? How he
true.
delivered his verses, it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? Let me go back to that. Let me, take another second to really digest what he's saying. That's what you have to do in the Bible. Go over it, digest it, and be like, okay, I can apply this to my life.
I like Pusha T's verse, man. I mean, verse 1. How could he not be the greatest in my bed? Undercovers when undercovers had raided. My presence is happy belated. Fashionably late, I'm just glad you made it. The best is yet to come. I'm just glad that you waited. They all say they real till it's time to appraise it. I like that line. I seen them come and go. You only the latest. But who am I to judge? I'm crooked as Vegas. That's nice, bro.
Well, I mean, that's the thing now. Like,
I like that.
You're crooked. You shouldn't be on a gospel album.
No, but that's the
his
problem.
brother, yeah, because his brother gave up everything to be a man of God.
Right, but it's
Islam,
not all good, bro. And not everything's good. When you find God or you go to gospel or you go to Christianity, like, you need to talk about your sins.
And that's the thing. It's like, you're not a perfect person. Nobody who's Christian is a perfect person.
That's the worst thing you can say if you're perfect and you only talk about the good stuff.
And that's the thing. That's why I keep saying,
I just
you
don't
can't
think he
keep them.
On this album.
You can't keep putting them in the box of being like, okay, since you're Christian, you have to be like this. You know what I mean? Bad people are Christians. Unfortunately.
Very bad people are Christians.
I just think it sends the wrong message.
I mean,
I think he brought him on here just
the world
so he
we
would
live
get
in
like
sends
the
a
buzz.
bad message.
I just think he brought him on here to get like the buzz, like, oh, the clips are back together after 15 years.
Everybody knows their past, bro. They know the clips past. They know Pusha T's past with moving weight and stuff.
It's like the yin and yang.
He's basically saying, I can't judge nobody. I'm trying to do the best for me. I can't judge nobody because I have a crooked past. I'm crooked as a person. I'm trying to do good every day. That's what Push is saying. So he's basically saying, like, yo, because that's the thing. You can't go in the past and erase everything. So that means that if I was a convict, I committed crimes and whatnot, I'm going to always be bad. I'm going to always not be, you know what I mean? I can't be Christian or I can't be into gospel because of my past. I'm trying to move forward.
Well, I just don't think his content fits on the rest of this content on the album. You know, like if they would have given me, I don't know. Like,
so you're saying this is the gospel?
Like you could put
album.
this song on like a Benny project or something like that, because they to compare, right? So like artists like we love like Conway, Penny, and all that. West Side especially, like they always like intertwine God in their rhymes, and they're some of the most murderous, flyest rappers that we listen to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like they don't claim to be gospel. So like,
and Pusha T didn't either.
You claiming to, but he's on the gospel album, so like he shouldn't be on this.
Yeah, he can. Why not?
It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No, it's not.
I just don't like it. I don't think it's.
I think you're putting it in a box.
That's the problem. He's trying to break that shit. He's not trying to put things in a box.
I'm not one of those people where things are black and white. Like I live in the gray constantly. I just don't like how it's sectioned, or how it's like plopped down here. Like if you flush this song out a little more and put it on like a Pusha T EP or some other collaborative effort, or maybe the Clips will do a quote unquote Christian /
They
drug
don't need
rap
to
album,
do anything right
like
now.
a little EP,
That
like,
was.
But it just doesn't belong. I just don't think it belongs on here.
Unfortunately.
Honestly. I could have done without this. There's so much potential.
I feel like he should have just had Pusha T on it. He didn't need whole clips.
And then
because it was weak, honestly.
Yeah.
I like Pusha's verse. I wasn't too much of a fan of Malice's verse.
It's a second whack verse from Push.
But I mean, Malice is a little rusty too. He's been out the game for a long time, so.
But that's the thing. They could have gotten help. They could have took some more time. They could have fleshed it out.
I mean, look,
I know I've probably said that like 50 times.
But look, this is the only thing I'm gonna say. On this song, Keep Pusha, I don't think we needed the Malice.
No.
I think Pusha's verse was dope. I think it was solid. And it's basically saying like, Kanye's preaching all this stuff, but hey, we're still human. We're still flawed. We still make mistakes. I have a crooked past.
Kenny G was the best thing on this song. And they didn't even use him right because he had the best little 30-second solo at the end. But if they were smart, they would have had him intertwining with the sax around the raps. That would have sounded so good if he would have let off a few notes.
But if you don't let it breathe, you won't be able to digest what they just said. You
No,
gotta let it
could've
breathe.
done it, though. Like,
you need room for
like on,
performance. You need room
like
to
on the Smoke
digest
Dizza-
those words.
On the Smoke Dizza statute of limitations that we talked about last week, like, that was kind of a criticism I had about the beats. Like the Pete Rock was doing too much sonically with the beats, but it works. So if he would have done something similar to that on this,
but that's
Kenny
the thing.
G,
Once it's a full project
and
and that artistry has left you, and you put out that project, you're always gonna have criticism. Like, oh, I could have did that, but I could have did. I mean, that's the name of the game. But Kanye's the type of person that'll go back in the booth and redo it. You saw he did that with The Life of Pablo. He flipped a couple beats. He extended things, and he ain't even tell nobody. He just extended it and added people, to be extended, like the Wolves threw on Frank Ocean at the end.
That was dope.
Yeah, like stuff like that. That wasn't on the original Life of Pablo. So Kanye's the type of person. He's like I said, he's gonna probably take all that criticism and say, okay, let's do more. Push, I need you on another verse. Malice, I need you to go hard. I need you to redo this. You know what I mean? Kanye's that type of person where he's going to be like, all right, we're getting back in it. We're going to redo this. We're going to extend this. Kenny G, your role is bigger now. Fred Hammond, I need you on more shit. I'm going to add more tracks. So, I mean, I think that since this is a tester, Kanye's not the type of person
to do that. Maybe
he needs more gospel
Maybe they'll pull
artists.
this from streaming in a couple weeks and then re-release it.
Yeah.
The way it's supposed to.
He's done that before.
He
Like a Pablo.
These are free ideas for you, Kanye, if you're looking for an artistic director. So.
Oh my god.
We're not that expensive either.
I definitely think he should have put more gospel artists on here.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
Like had his hard rappers and then half gospel.
But also remember, a lot of
artists.
these conversations could have happened behind the scenes. Some of them could have said no. You don't know. Maybe he could have explained his route of going, and they're like, I'll get to it later. So that's the thing. Behind closed doors, we don't know what conversations actually happen. Because
and let's not gloss over the fact that he left a lot of people off this too. Like he left off Nicki, he left off Young Thug.
Who? He don't need them people.
Nicki was supposed to be on this. Young Thug did apparently he did like a whole long verse about the devil,
That's probably why he left him off.
You don't need that.
What do you mean you don't need that?
Nicki's retired. First off, what's she doing?
You need.
Isn't she trying to have a baby?
Like this. That's the kind of shit I want to
your
hear.
ass
Like,
down.
She's trying to be a family woman right now.
You can't give me
You don't
all
need
the
no
light
Nicki.
without the darkness. I need to hear the rap
Nicki,
about
bro.
the devil, how he's coming
That's
after you.
the deluxe version.
And then you go, it better be on there.
I'm working with Kanye right now. That's the deluxe version.
But that's
man.
the
I'm not supposed to
thing.
tell you.
Gospel is uplifting. You don't
Listen,
need.
you know who
You don't need to
Why are
constantly
you
talk
putting
about
gospel
the
in a
devil.
box,
But
Chelsea?
you know what?
I'm
You're
not.
putting it in
But
a
you know
box.
But
what?
I'm telling you what gospel is. It's
No.
uplifting. You don't need to constantly talk about devil this, devil that. It's so
I
bad.
need that. But one person that he did forget, and I'm a little upset. It just dawned on me. Saha the Prince. Saha the Prince should have definitely been on there
That
he
would've
didn't.
been cool.
He didn't write his songs on here.
Huh?
He might have wrote a lot of the stuff on here.
I don't know. I think he should have been on there because Saha talks about like he's in that lane with like Pusha. Like he's like, yo, I've been through some stuff. I did some things, but there's. I mean, you see the dude wears the shirts all the time. The freaking the
Kanye
preacher
just
joints,
uses Sci-Hi whenever it's
Maybe he
convenient
should
for
have
him.
just had Use This Gospel. He should have just had Sci-Hi the Prince and Pusha T.
I think that would have been better.
That would have been.
Or he could have had him on another track on this thing,
Right.
just going in, because Saha got a lot to say.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one person that he forgot about on this track.
I feel like he would have leveled out Pusha T's verse a lot more.
He's heavily needed on this track. I
Seriously.
think he could have really helped it out a little bit.
They should just scrap all this except for Waters and then
Bro,
re-release it.
you're bugging.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, final thoughts, guys. Anything else?
I like I mean, what are we going to do ratings, or are we just going to leave it as we're going to let it breathe?
Yeah, let's do our strict ratings that we normally do.
Okay, you go first. 'Cause you're talking all this shit.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Well, there's 11 songs. I liked 1.5.
1.5 songs.
You're
You believe this?
bugging.
I'll give it a 1.5.
You're bugging.
1.5 out of 10, bro.
Yeah, 1.5.
You're bugging.
Hey, I'm coming from a place of love here.
No, you're not. Anyway, go ahead, Chelsea. What's your rating?
I don't know this
Out of
man.
a scale of 10, what would you give it?
I feel like the 11 tracks, going through it all, it doesn't feel like 11 tracks when I'm listening to it because I
Yeah, it's
actually
pretty
enjoyed
quick.
it.
Yeah.
I do feel like he could have went more in depth with the gospel in that aspect. I feel like his features were on point, but I feel like he should have left out clips and added Sci-Hi. I'm on the fence about this one, honestly. I would probably get maybe like a 6.5.
That's doable.
A lot nicer than me.
Yeah, because you evil. So now me, I like that it was short. That's a good pointer. That's one of our big things on this podcast. I feel like he danced around a lot of topics. You know, he didn't really get straight to the point as I thought he would. I think it could have been longer, some of his tracks. I think he could have utilized some of the gospel artists a little bit more. He could have added more, but like I said, I don't know what happened behind the scenes with those conversations. I think Sci-Hi the Prince should have been on there. I don't believe you needed Malice. I'm honestly going to say that. I like Malice, but that's the old clips. He's a new guy now.
We don't know that man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that man. He's stupid. But overall, I think that it was a good intro. I'm gonna compare it more to like the Yeezus where it was a sample. I'm hoping to hear more, but as of right now, I think I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. It does have some replay
a light
value.
6 or a heavy 6?
Huh?
A light or a heavy 6?
Oh, a heavy 6.
A heavy
I'll give it a
6,
6,
okay.
yeah. Because I think it's listenable. You can get straight through it. I like it a lot. I do like the project. As much criticism I'm giving it,
I do like
I
it
just
too.
I just wanted more. I wanted him to like, because when he was talking his shit, I was like, go Kanye, do more. Give me more. Give
I
me more.
needed to feel
And
like
I was
I'm
waiting.
with Chetch.
Yeah. Like he made me feel like I was like, I'm about to put my suit on and
I
listen to
need
this
to
shit.
feel like
Oh
I was
my
in
god.
Chetch.
Yeah.
I'm about to put the tie on
I
and
didn't
shit.
feel
Like,
that
yeah.
way.
But he just didn't
All the way.
finish. Like it was just
Yeah.
like he just left us on a cliffhanger with every song, and I'm like, bro, just finish, bro. Like, give me the other 25%.
Flush it out. Yeah. This
Yeah.
was an album of reference tracks. Half-finished
Absolutely.
thoughts. Just finish
So,
it.
The concept was
I will
there.
wait another
The concept
year.
was
The
great.
concept
Do
was
it
great.
right.
I think his ability to try to carve out a whole his own lane with the genre was absolutely fire. I think he could have definitely did a lot more. He could have added more people, or at least extended the album. Like, I don't mind. When it comes to Kanye, I'll bend a little bit if he like threw 15, 16 songs on there, because it's Kanye. Because he's one of my favorite artists ever. So it's like I'll bend if he like broke our rule of like, yo, 14 or less. Like, if it's Kanye, add more songs, bro. You know what I mean? Give us more. Make your tracks longer, maybe. You know what I mean?
If it's gonna complete the full album, just do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just
And
do it.
Talk about
Flush
your
it
dad,
out.
bro.
Yeah, flush
Tell us
it out.
about your dad, man. We talk about
Mr.
your mom.
West, come on the show.
We
need
talk
to know
about
more
your
about
mom. You praise your
What
mom a lot.
happened with
and I
your
love
dad
it.
and your mom?
Like, tell me that. How
You don't
was
get
this?
to make an appearance 9 albums in.
Like, that's
You don't
what I'm
even
saying.
know.
Like, your 9th studio album,
It's like
and
some
we just
soap
hearing
opera
about
shit,
dad.
and like all of a sudden, like, oh, I thought he was dead, and then he comes back.
That's what I'm saying.
It should have been a
in like
story.
20
He should have
years.
R. Kelly'd it too soon. But I'm just saying, like, he should have.
Yeah.
But he should have like
Trying to
made a
get us
story
canceled.
out of it.
No,
you
he
know
really
what I
could have
mean?
like went in. That should have been the longest song
You know what I mean?
on the album. That should have been like 9 minutes. He should have flipped the beat. a couple times.
The
and
metaphor,
Maybe not 9 minutes.
all right, maybe not like 7 minutes, maybe 5 or 7 minutes, whatever. But overall,
the
yeah.
metaphor of the Father and his father, like, come
Yeah.
on.
I think that would have been
This
dope.
is
God the
low-hanging
Father,
fruit.
the Son, the Holy Spirit,
Yeah,
all that shit.
he could have related all of that in the Bible. We would have been like,
Oh my God.
blown away.
I'm taking a half a point off. I'm giving it a 1 now.
Oh no!
I'm giving it a light 1.
Oh no! Yo,
Man.
you're
Because
yo.
there's so many ways he could have gone
He
to
coulda
like
did that.
completely destroy and slaughter the
Yeah.
charts. Like,
I mean, this is truly a sample.
Now I'm
Like,
getting mad again. I was just getting in a better
because
mood.
I mean,
think-
you have a point. He
it-
could have just
yeah.
made this an EP.
He could have, as a filler. If he wanted to be a sample like the Yeezus, he should have gave us like
This should have been an
6 songs.
EP. It shouldn't have been an album.
5 or
Yeah,
6
it should have
songs.
been an EP about mental health, and he never flushed it.
We should have dived
It should have
deeper
been
into
an EP,
that.
and then he should have made the next album be about mental health. He didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been an EP about God or Jesus, and then flush it out into the album. But he hasn't done that, so.
I mean, as far as with the what you were saying with Nicki and Young Thug, I think
What
they
the
could have
fuck is he-
they could have did that, but not those artists. Somebody
But
else.
why? Like, why would you even have Nicki? Why?
You don't need Nicki on there. You don't
Why?
need Young Thug on there.
Why
You
do
need
you hate
Saha the
Nicki?
Prince.
Why?
You need your team. Like, where's your team?
Nah.
Where's your team at,
She
bro?
is so left field.
Nah,
Why would you
Young-
even
Young
add
Thug
her
should
on
have been
there?
on
That
this.
just makes me angry.
Like, that's the problem. I'm like, yo, use your team. Good music is solid, bro. Use your people.
That's
You
the
don't need
thing, like-
outsiders on this one.
Also, we should have seen something from Big Sean.
That I was just about to say
I feel
that.
like
That's
Big
why I said
Sean
his
talks
team.
about being blessed a lot.
Yeah.
Bro, he could have. Bro,
Blessed.
he could have
He's
went
always blessed in
in.
his
He could have went in on like a lot of stuff that he's going through right now. He could have went. I think
Yeah.
Big Sean could have been on there with, with mental health illness and stuff like that. He could elaborate on a lot of stuff. too.
He could have made a banger with 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
Yo, 2 Chainz would have
Could've
banged
done
on him. Yeah, like that's
2
what I'm
Chainz
saying.
could take it to church.
You don't
Yeah.
need like I don't see a Young Thugger really adding value to this.
Maybe if he, you know how Young Thug, he would sing a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he had him doing that, not necessarily.
But then
putting
we'd
down
be
bars.
mad that he's singing like, yo, you're not.
I mean,
gonna,
I
you're not
really
gonna give me a
loved
verse.
him on Highlights from Life of Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
one
fire.
of my favorite
That was
songs. on
fire.
that, so.
Yeah. So.
Attention, all rappers, make the album about mental health that we need. Stop tap dancing around it. Stop hiding behind your jewelry,
Speak your
the
truth.
lifestyle, the
That's what I'm saying.
drugs.
If we got past
Really
the
get into
homophobic stuff, you could talk about your sexuality
Yeah.
on albums.
Make
We can
the
definitely talk
album
about
really.
mental health. That's a big issue right now.
Yeah.
So, all right. I guess on that
Let's
note,
get
I'm
into-
done
you,
with
you
this
guys
one.
can kick off the Aux Picks.
All right, Chelsea,
sure-
you want
I'm
to go
sure you
first?
guys-
You want to take a moment, and it doesn't have to be on Kanye's. It could be whatever.
Well, it could be anything, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It could be anything.
Anything.
or anything. Yeah.
Anything that's not.
So.
Well,
Oh yeah,
it could be
usually just
anything,
pick
yeah.
it that we fill it in, so you can just
Yeah.
say what it is, the artist and whatnot,
Introduce it.
and then give people your tagging in.
Dear Summer, you know you're gonna miss me.
Sing to me, Dante. It soothes my soul.
Oh, so when I
I'm
sing,
just
it
trying to
doesn't?
fill the dead air here.
So when I sing, it doesn't soothe your soul.
Oh, it does.
Oh, okay, cool.
You look too much like Pharrell, though. It kind of messes with her head when she looks at you.
I was just fronting.
It's like you don't sound like him, so it's like
You know
it's a
I
mind-
want you. I sound
mind
better.
trick.
Oh my
You
god.
know
So
I
since
want
we're on
you,
the
babe.
gospel vibe, why don't we do Melodies from Heaven by Kirk Franklin? How about that?
Okay.
Here we go, folks. Melodies of Heaven or from Heaven?
From Heaven.
Melodies from Heaven
You're
by
gonna
Kirk
hate me.
Franklin.
Oh no.
Pass the Aux Pod, episode 10.
Hey.
Jesus is King.
Hey.
And we still love you, Kanye.
Hey. Always.
Here we go. Melodies from heaven rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven rain down on me, rain down on me. Take me in your arms and hold me close. Ah, yeah. Rain down on me. Yeah. Rain down on me. Fill me with your precious Holy Ghost. Hallelujah. Rain down on me. I feel it now, Vicky. Can we take it up here? Here we go, everybody. Melodies. Melodies from heaven. Rain down on me. Oh, come on in here. Rain down on me. Come on, say with us. Melodies. Melodies from heaven. All right. I feel a little better than I feel some now.
Cool. All right, we're back. That was some Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin.
Wow.
Kirk Franklin.
Kirk who?
Kirk
What?
Franklin. You know I can't say certain words. Kirk.
Sorry, we can always.
You say it.
What
Say it. Say it. Go ahead.
It's Kirk Franklin.
Yeah, I can't say that.
That happened to you last week. You couldn't say like.
Kirk,
It's
Kirk,
certain
Kirk.
words I just can't say. I'm like,
Most simple name.
it's certain words I just can't say. I'll be lost. It kills me. But anyway, fuck y'all. Anyway, so my Pass the Aux pick is gonna be. I'm a ease the gospel. Okay, so we're done with that right now. So I'm going to throw out this track I just found by DRAM called "The Laydown," featuring H.E.R and Watt.
Perfect thing to sleep on or freak on, just in case you wanted to.
All right, folks, that was The Laydown by DRAM featuring other artists.
Hey.
For my pick, I'm gonna pick the one song that really got me hyped for this Kanye Jesus is King album.
Hey.
They played this at the Coachella set, Sunday service. You've definitely seen the viral memes of Kanye, doing his little keyboard shit to this song. I'm gonna play Brighter Days, the Underground 93 mix by Cajmere and Dante. Guys, follow, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining us for another episode.
Hey, as always.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys for attending, listening.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow us at Pass the Aux Pod _ Dante Silva, Unique Pove, EUNEKEPOV, and the beautiful, wonderful, excellent, everything, baby.
Our religious correspondent.
PhD.
Oh my god.
Wrote 7 books.
Dear Lord. I cannot, literally. Chelsea who _03.
Hey. And follow our fashion blog as well.
Yeah.
Follow it. Peace.